Iron Eagle Dan Fouts back at MetLife Stadium, moments away from the opening kick. Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team. Down on the sidelines, Jenny Dell.
Well, I spoke with head coach Tom Coughlin and asked him which one of his players was really rallying this group together. He said without a doubt it was Antrell Roll. And the captain told me his main focus this week was getting this team on the same page. Dan, you said it earlier, can't just come in here hoping to win. They need to expect to win. And his message was clear. We need to go out there, be confident with our abilities, and just have fun playing the game of football. Guys?
Well, Jenny, Eli Manning and the Giants stumbled out of the gates last year, went 0-6, finished the season 7-9, missed the playoffs for the fourth time in the last 5 years. Houston won the toss. They have deferred. So Randy Bullock will kick it off to Quinton Dempps, who had a key fumble last week on a kickoff return in a 25-14 loss to Arizona. We're underway in East Rutherford. Dempps will take a knee. Giants will have it at the 20-yard line to open things up. Eli Manning, 154th consecutive start. He's been an Ironman, the longest active streak at quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he told us yesterday the Giants will start in the no-huddle offense. He feels that gives the Giants their best chance to get into a good rhythm, get a good start, put some points early on the board, something they have failed to do so far this season.
Dan, they're going to open up with a three-receiver set. Preston Parker, who is now in for the injured Jarrell Jernigan. Parker a year ago was building tiki huts down in Florida. What a difference a year makes in his life. Manning throws on first down. Ruben Randall underneath. And he gets hit at the 24-yard line by Joseph and Cushing. It's a 4-yard pickup for the Giants on the first play from scrimmage.
Real positive start for Eli, getting that ball out of his hand quickly. That's the key against this pass rush.
Learning this new West Coast system, footwork, timing, big keys. He has 4 interceptions in the first 2 games. Stutter step. Driving is Jennings up the middle. 5-yard gain. Offensive line, Weston Richburg. Look, when you've got to deal with J.J. Watt and they move him all over the field, they're going to look for any kind of vulnerability. He's the rookie out of Colorado State. Larry Donnell, making a name for himself early. He's been the leading Giants receiver through the first 2 weeks. Jennings up the gut, a spin move, and he's got a first down. They'll move the chains, a 4-yard pickup. Jennings had a huge fumble late in the game against Arizona last week. Defensively, there is Watt, 2-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Player of the Year, and a bona fide star. Brian Cushing, start at Bergen Catholic about 20 minutes from here. And DJ Swearinger was a question mark, but he is in there. Swearinger has been a playmaker for Houston. Hyperextended left elbow last week. Give it to Jennings again. And Houston prepared for it. Limited to a 2-yard gain. Tim Jamison in there along with Watt and Crick for Houston. A 30-14 rout in Oakland last week.
Well, you talked about that fumble that Jennings had last week. He's not a fumbler. 6 years in the league, 4 fumbles. He's just lost 2 of them. That was very rare.
Jennings formerly with Jacksonville and Oakland. 7th-round pick back in 2009. Fakes the handoff. Manning is dropped, and guess who? J.J. Watt gets to the quarterback early, a loss of 9.
And it's a play-action pass, and Pugh, leaning too far forward, allows Watt to go to the inside. Eli has no shot to get away from him because he had to fake the ball to Jennings. And look at that effort with one arm, bringing down the quarterback. Awesome.
Watt signed to a 6-year, $100 million deal, locking him up long-term. And really has become the face of the organization. Jennings, good cut by Jennings. But he's brought down across the 30-yard line, and the Giants will punt. Whitney Merciless in on that stop for Houston. A 7-yard gain for Jennings.
Watt just in his 4th year, 38.5 sacks now. At that time, the Giants saw him lined up on the left side of their offense, so they ran away from him, way short of the first down.
Damaris Johnson, the former Philadelphia Eagle, is the returnman. Steve Weatherford is not 100%. Weatherford has been dealing with a left ankle injury. Punt angle towards the sideline, and it's out of bounds. Houston will have it inside the 20. 49-yard punt. We're getting used to this salute from J.J. Watt. He's doing it around stadiums all over the country. Ryan Fitzpatrick leads this Houston offense. No interceptions through the first 2 weeks. He averaged 16.5 picks the last 4 years in Tennessee and Buffalo. First and 10 of the 19, playing without Arian Foster. It's Alfred Blue, and Blue slices through for a first down run to the 30-yard line. That's an 11-yard gain as Foster sits with a hamstring injury. Starting offense for Houston. Coach Bill O'Brien pointed out that Derek Newton has really stood out with his work ethic and his performance so far. And there is Blue, the rookie out of LSU, who brings speed and power. Very similar build to Foster. Blue is 6'2", 223 pounds. Foster 6'1", 227. So a new set of downs for Houston. Give it to Blue again. Squeezing through a hole that didn't exist. Good vision to create a 2-yard gain. Hankins combining with McClain. Let's take a look at the defense. That was Hankins who was in on that stop for the New York Giants. Linebackers, Beeson out. McClain mans the middle. That means Herzlich will see more time on the outside. And Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie has the assignment dealing with Andre Johnson, the future Hall of Famer, 7-time Pro Bowler. 2nd and 8. 2 tight ends in this formation with Graham and Fedorowicz, but Graham sets up on the outside. Fitzpatrick out of the gun. Knocked down. Couldn't get it off cleanly because of Jason Pierre-Paul.
Pierre-Paul goes about 6'5", great athlete. Watch him working against Dwayne Brown here. Brown tries to cut him. That's the athletic ability to get up in the air, and it looks like that Hankins may have got this, and both of them were right there in the throwing lane. Fitzpatrick goes about 6'2". He may not be all of that.
Bill O'Brien, he has really pushed the idea of the players taking ownership of what's happening on the field. And it doesn't happen overnight. He saw that in New England, the leaders getting passed down. Andre Johnson trying to extend, and he is short. So Johnson with the catch. For Johnson, that is 121 consecutive games with a catch, but Houston does not convert, and they'll punt it away.
Now, the Texans were concerned about the front four of the Giants, and Giants showing real good athletic ability to stop that pass on 2nd down and made for a difficult conversion on 3rd and long.
7-time Pro Bowler Shane Leckler will punt it. Preston Parker, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. It's a fake, and it works on a toss to Blue. The Texans catch the Giants napping on special teams. They turn it into a 10-yard gain. Big smile for the rookie Blue.
Well, perfect execution. Blue is the personal protector. He's just going to leak right out into the flat here. And the throw is going to be absolutely perfect. Shane Leckler, one of the best punters in the history of the game. Former high school quarterback.
Ah, there it is. The scouting report.
Always there in the background.
Quarterback turned punter. Star at Texas A&M and then with the Oakland Raiders. So this drive continues. Alfred Blue keeps the legs churning and carries to the 42 in Houston territory. Jones and Myers with key blocks up front, 9-yard pickup.
And look at how coordinated this offensive line is. All on their feet, all moving as one, and allowing Blue to cut back over the block of Jones and pick up 9.
Alfred Blue had a torn ACL left knee. Would have been a higher draft pick, but that limited him at LSU. Coming back from that injury, turned into a 6th-round pick. Only had 7 career starts at LSU.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Veteran referee Terry McCauley.
And the rookie Fedorowicz with the false start.
Fedorowicz, 3rd-round pick out of Iowa, first-team All-Big Ten. CJ stands for Colton John Fedorowicz.
We're impressed with his blocking ability. That's key to this style of rushing attack.
2nd and 6. Play fake. Fitzpatrick steps up. Fitzpatrick with a flag down. Slides at the 46. Penalty marker after the heat came from Kiwanuka from the Giants. Another penalty against Houston. Tom Coughlin pointing in that direction.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's Brandon Brooks, 3rd-year guard. actually down from the weight that he showed up his rookie year at 346. He's down to 335.
That's a deck chair off the Titanic, isn't it?
It's about a deck chair, maybe two.
Maybe a chaise lounge.
They were at the Giants 42. Since that point, they've lost 15 yards. They're going in the wrong direction.
And they had second down and 1.
Nickel package. Trumaine McBride is in for the injured Walter Thurman. Jonathan Grimes taking it up the middle. William and Mary product. A cup of coffee with the Jets in Jacksonville. Undrafted free agent in 2012. So Bill O'Brien's going to rotate with Alfred Brew probably seeing the majority of the runs, and Grimes and the veteran Ronnie Brown getting some opportunities.
Big opportunity this time for the Giants to turn loose that pass rush. 4 down linemen ready to get after Fitzpatrick.
Giants have not forced a turnover so far on the young season. This is a 3rd and 11 for Houston. Grimes remains in there. Fitzpatrick, wobbly ball. Trying to get under it for the pick. Prince Amukamara. And he does. Quarterback was hit. Fitzpatrick. The ball came out wobbly. Pierre Paul with the stick. First takeaway of the year for the Giants.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at JaguarUSA.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Giants came in -6 turnover differential. Houston was +5 entering week 3. And the Giants take over after the Amukamara interception. Give it to Jennings. Rashad Jennings bangs off a tackler and takes it to the 45. It's a 9-yard gain.
Let's go back to that interception. A bad snap by Chris Myers kind of throws the timing off on this, but the pocket is collapsed by JPP and Demontre Moore. 4th career interception for Amukamara. Just what the Giants need.
First interception of the season for Fitzpatrick, just the 2nd turnover for Houston. Jennings gets it again. Stutter step move. Jennings has the first down. Out near midfield, J.J. Watt in on the stop. It's a 4-yard gain. Tom Coughlin last week, he said it was just a domino effect against Arizona. Victor Cruz drops the ball on 3rd down. They have to punt. They get low hang time on the Weatherford punt. They can't bring down Ginn initially. He takes it the distance. Then they fumble on the kickoff return after the Ginn touchdown. He said you cannot play worse than they did in that sequence. No score here. Giants and Houston in the first. Quick hitter to Ruben Randall. Had a great one-handed catch for a touchdown last week in that loss to the Cardinals. That's an 8-yard gain through the air.
Well, you may wonder why the Giants are running the ball so much early here. This is just the 2nd pass completion for Eli and Randall, but Texans are playing with 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs, so it's wise to keep feeding Jennings the ball.
Swearinger has basically been playing as a linebacker in this first quarter. Jennings getting some yards after contact. It's a 3-yard pickup, and it is enough for a first down. Hit by Swearinger and Crick. So they'll move the chains. Giants in Houston territory, looking to strike first with under 6 minutes to go here in the first. Romeo Crennel, former Giant assistant coach, won multiple Super Bowls with the Giants and went on to New England and won more Super Bowls, 5 in his career, the defensive coordinator. Hooper, Manning downfield. Airborne is Donnell. 5-yard pickup. A lot happened to pick up the 5 yards. But the Giants are moving the ball.
Well, quick passing and then getting out of the pocket for Manning so far in this first quarter. It's all working well. This is dangerous, though. Head over heels there for Donnell.
Donnell, who was actually a quarterback to start at Grambling State, completed 1 pass, then got converted to tight end. Toss it to the outside. Randall trying to make a man miss. Down low, Joseph gets it. The Giants are dinking and dunking, and it's working right now. Very close to a first down.
Really, the only time that Eli got sacked was on a play-action pass where he took a deep drop, and J.J. Watt got inside of Pugh for the sack, but he is getting the ball out quickly. Good timing, good rhythm so far.
Hurry-up offense here for the Giants. It is enough for a first down. Ben McAdoo, the 37-year-old offensive coordinator, calling the plays. 7th play of the drive. Manning is 4 of 4. Manning packs the ball and throws underneath. He is feeding it to Randall. 9-yard pickup. Darryl Morris is there defensively for Houston.
And the timing absolutely perfect on this little hook route. It's almost indefensible when the quarterback can have a clean throwing lane, and it's a good sharp route by Randall. He drops his hips there, turns to the quarterback, makes the catch.
Out of the gun, give it to Jennings. Rashad Jennings. Always get a high effort level from him. It's an 8-yard gain. John Jerry with the block up front. And they'll keep this drive moving inside the 15.
8 carries so far for Jennings, averaging 5 yards a tote.
McAdoo was the quarterback's coach in Green Bay the last 2 years. He coached tight ends in Green Bay the previous 6 years. Finding a rhythm here in the first quarter. Jennings remains in there. Jennings with the cut. Jennings carries to the 10. It takes a number of tacklers to bring him down. It's a 3-yard pickup for Rashad Jennings. The Giants have led for a grand total of 6 minutes and 53 seconds so far this season. In the red zone, 5 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
Want to do some math there?
80%.
Very good. 2nd and 7. Manning. Connection made. DeMille fumbles the football. It's scooped up by Joseph. Joseph on the recovery. And the Giants cough it up. Another wasted opportunity for Tom Coughlin's squad. Kendrick Lewis jarred it loose with a hit. Giants come up empty. No score. Tom Coughlin has preached ball security throughout his head coaching career. That is number 1 on his priority list. In fact, it's the first thing they talk about when training camp opens up. And he has been pounding the point home again this week, but Larry Donnell coughs it up. When the Giants were looking to score first. Joseph on the recovery. Joseph was injured on the play. Walked off on his own. Fitzpatrick tip ball. Nearly intercepted. Jenkins gets a piece of it, and Rogers Cromartie was in the area. Johnson the intended target. Thursday, your football week starts here. It's a huge NFC East rivalry. The Giants square off with Washington. Another big-time matchup in primetime Thursday Night Football on NFL Network and CBS.
Kirk Cousins put 41 up last week after RG3 goes down.
And that raises the discussion level as to the future of that position in Washington as well. Alfred Blue spins away and picks up some extra yards. Carries for 3. Jason Pierre-Paul brings him down. NFL Today update. Let's head to New York. JP and Tony.
Quick describes the Eagles.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to do it the old-fashioned way, returning a kick right here. This is Chris Polk going 102 yards on the kickoff return. That answered a Washington score. First kickoff return in 6 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. Tied all up right now, 7-7.
All right, back to Ian, Dan, and Jenny.
And Cousins off to the good start there. 9 of 10 throwing the football in for the injured RG3. 3rd and 6. Play clock down to 1. They get the play off. Fitzpatrick under pressure. Fitzpatrick running with it. Dives across the 35. Short of a first down by about a yard. Robert Ayers Jr. sliding through to put the heat on Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That is one thing the Giants have done well so far this season is their 3rd down defense. 0 for 3 now for the Texans, converting on 3rd downs.
So 4th down for Houston. Shane Leckler did not punt it the last time. Preston Parker waiting for it. It was a fake. And caught the Giants off guard for a gain. This time Leckler lets it fly. Over the head of Parker, and bounces into the end zone. Giants will have it at the 20-yard line. Bill O'Brien's Texans and Tom Coughlin's New York Giants. No score late first quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. and by Bose, official sound of the NFL.
Giants and Texans, no score, 1:28 to go in this first quarter. Giants get it back. Daniel Fells is in for Larry Goodell, who fumbled in the red zone. Handed off, and it's Andre Williams picking up 4 yards.
Just a perfect hit by Kendrick Lewis, but as a young receiver, as Donnell is, it's only 17 career catches. He's got to know where he is on the field, what the defender's doing, and not allow the defender to hit the ball with his helmet, as what happened there.
Former practice squad member, has been a project that the Giants have been working with, replacing Brandon Myers, who's now in Tampa Bay. 2nd and 6, shotgun for Manning. Trying to get Victor Cruz involved, he does. Cruz with a catch and run. Victor Cruz doesn't have enough. Caught from behind. Darrell Morris saved the touchdown on the chase down.
That's a slant route for Cruz from the left side of the screen. Look at the pass protection, perfect. And the acceleration here to get by. And then the rundown. Great job by Morris to come out of nowhere here and keep Cruz from dancing the salsa for the first time in a long time. 61 big ones, and again in the red zone.
Eli Manning is a perfect 7 of 7. Double tight end set. Donnell and Fells. Time winding down in the first. Andre Williams, the rookie out of Boston College, no gain on the play, and that'll do it for this first quarter. We'll return after these messages. The NFL on CBS. Well, all of today's football action, download the CBS Sports app now for lightning fast scores, breaking news, video, and more, all on your phone. Victor Cruz, 61-yard pass play, longest offensive play of the season for the Giants by more than double. The previous long was 29 yards. First play of the second quarter. Manning to the end zone. Incomplete. Ruben Randall, the intended receiver. A.J. Boye, the second-year corner out of Central Florida, back there in coverage. First incomplete pass for Manning.
Well, the pressure got to him. He had to throw this ball early, but Boye does a nice job there. But isn't that illegal contact past the 5 yards? Not sure what they're calling these days. I'm just surprised not to see a flag on a pass play sometimes.
Jonathan Joseph, he is back in there for Houston. Dime package for the Texans on a 3rd and 10 now for the Giants. Giants looking to take the lead. 4 receiver set. Manning, connection made. Donnell gets dropped. It is Kendrick Lewis who had the hit on Donnell on the previous catch that forced the fumble.
Yeah, that's a great tackle, but he had help too coming behind him if he doesn't make the tackle. Donnell is going to be way short of the first down, but that's as good as you are taught there. Get your head across the runner's legs there, take out both legs.
Dan, this is the kind of season it's been for the New York Giants. It's the second quarter of the 3rd game, and this is Josh Brown's first field goal attempt of the season. It's a 30-yarder for Brown, the 12-year veteran. Boy, the New York Giants can't get out of their own way. Just brutal.
Zach Diassi, the snapper, he rolls a grounder back there, right through the hands of Weatherford, and all Brown can do is fall on it. 29-yard loss. Well, 2 trips to the red zone results in 2 disasters for the Giants. Just bad snap by Zach Diassi, where the Giants got to the 12-yard line. The fumble by Donnell at the 5-yard line.
The most rudimentary of plays, the snap and put down on a field goal goes awry. Fitzpatrick off the play fake. Drops it in the bucket to DeAndre Hopkins, now in his 2nd year, first-round pick in 2013. And what a pair between Hopkins and Johnson. That's a 17-yard pickup through the air.
Great protection from that offensive line. And then watch this deep comeback, real sharp route there, little double move there, the out and up and then the out, and he's lucky to hang on to that ball. Almost stripped Mukamara.
First down in Giants territory, now 42. Give it to Blue. Houston playing without Arian Foster, out with a hamstring injury. Robert Ayers Jr. makes the stop. 2.5-yard gain for the rookie Blue.
That turnover, the bad snap, has really taken a lot of the spirit out of this stadium. Eli told us that a lead would help us on many levels, help the defense, but get the crowd into it, give us a confidence boost. The confidence now, the confidence now has got to be at all-time low.
Call it 2nd and 8. Bootleg. Drop ball. Jay Prosch, rookie fullback from Auburn, unable to haul it in. Sets up 3rd and long now for Houston.
Yeah, this is an example of why he plays fullback. No catches so far in the year and no rushes. And he may now get another attempt after dropping that one wide open in the flat.
Jonathan Grimes in for Bill O'Brien's offense. DeMaurice Johnson. And it's a 4-receiver look for Houston. Crowd re-energized. 3rd and 8. Fitzpatrick gets rid of it. Drop ball. Hopkins. And the Giants force a punt at the 12:51 mark of the second. The pressure coming from Jaquan Williams, the speedy linebacker.
Yeah, Williams puts the pressure on, and then the coverage by McLean is absolutely perfect. Even if the ball is caught, it's not going to result in a first down.
So Shane Leckler back out there for Houston. Preston Parker waiting for the punt inside the 10. They're trying to place this one inside the 15. And he does. It curls out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. Giants will be pinned deep in their own territory after the 31-yard punt from Leckler. The NFL and its teams proudly support Hispanic Heritage Month, recognizing Latino fans, players, coaches, and staff celebrating the diversity of the NFL. Before today's game, Giants were joined on the field by students from PS 279, predominantly Hispanic school in the Bronx. They honored former Yankee great Mariano Rivera as their Hispanic Heritage Leadership Award winner. Greatness inside the stadium. Mariano. 1st and 10 for the Giants from the 9. Jennings up the middle. Rips through the hole for a 7-yard pickup. Richburg and Walton creating the opening for the Giants.
Let's check out Richburg and Walton right up front here, the two of them. It's good patience by Jennings, too. Cutting back behind the block of Walton. Another positive rushing attack.
Last season, they had their worst rushing numbers since 1945, the Giants. 83 yards per game, 29th in the NFL. Jennings again. Jennings pushing the pile across the 20. And it's a first down, 5-yard pickup for New York.
And J.J. Watt's coming off to the sideline here. Not sure if he injured his elbow or not trying to make that tackle, but he has that big brace on his left arm. That's the same size knee brace I once wore in the NFL.
Same size body brace I once wore 2 years ago. It's a large arm. Watt is being checked out by the Houston Texans medical staff. First down for the Giants. Eli Manning making the change just across the 20-yard line. Play clock down to 2. Running play. Jennings, big hole. Takes it to the outside, and Jennings carries across the 35. Henry Hynoski, the fullback, with a block to help spring him for 18 yards. Rashad Jennings.
Here's Hynoski, and this is his job in the backfield. Classic I formation, weak side blast play. And just a real good job of that entire offensive line. Richburg, Beatty on that side, and Hynoski.
It is the longest run that Jennings has had as a New York Giant, 18 yards.
See him wrapping up that ball, too, when he got contact.
First down just short of the 40. Play action. Manning sets up. Deep ball on the way into double coverage, looking for Randall. It's broken up. The combination of Jackson back there along with Morris. And Jackson is limping after the play.
Now here's Morris. It's man for man, but Jackson comes from center field here to make a play. In fact, he had the best shot at making the catch on this. But you got to wonder about when he lands. If he did injure his leg, he's coming off the sideline right now. If Jonathan Joseph is out with like a head injury after the fumble recovery, and now Kareem Jackson limping to the sideline. But why not take a shot deep like that? I like that call. It loosens up the defense, especially when you've got a second-year player in there and Daryl Morris taking on Reuben Randall.
Jackson had an interception last week, his first since November of 2012, returned at 65 yards. He's in a contract year for Houston. And now Andre Howell, rookie out of Vanderbilt, will step in. Jonathan Joseph has been on the field for Houston, and J.J. Watt returns for the Texans on a 2nd and 10 for New York. Motion man is Donnell. Movement, Watt pointing to the Giants' right side of the offensive line.
Daniel Fells, the tight end on that side, moved early.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You think they're a little bit concerned with blocking number 99?
A little bit.
Well, I don't see a whole lot of movement there. It looks like he just turned his head to the inside to get the play call. First penalty against the Giants.
171 yards of offense for the Giants. It has not translated on the scoreboard. Corey Washington is in. He was a preseason revelation for the Giants. Give it to Victor Cruz, breaks one tackle, and spins across the 40-yard line for a gain of 7. Danielle Manning, the veteran, wrapped him up along the outside.
But he made the first guy miss. And if you make the first guy miss, you're going to get positive yardage, obviously. But smart play by McAdoo to get one of your most explosive players the ball early on a play.
3rd and 8 now. Jennings back in. 4 receivers set. 10-minute mark of the 2nd quarter. Manning takes a look at the defense. On 3rd down. Manning out of the pocket, throws on the move. Incomplete. Parker got his hands on it, but unable to bring it in. Manning there defensively for Houston.
Now Manning has to move around in the pocket a little bit. Here's J.J. Watt working against Walton, gets double teamed there. It's a catch you've got to make, though. You got to continue to run. He kind of stops there, bends over instead of running to the ball. Big 3rd down miss there by the Giants.
And it brings Weatherford onto the field. The punt to DeMaurice Johnson. Pressure from Houston. Weatherford gets it off Cleveland. Johnson, returnable, sidesteps, stays on his feet, then driven backwards as he hit the 20-yard line. Mark Herzlich on special teams. Ryan Fitzpatrick leading the Houston offense on the field when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by AT&T. Mobilizing your world.
Houston takes over first 3 possessions. Interception, punt, but in the category of stats can be deceiving. Texans have been outgained in both of their games so far this season. Both were Houston victories. Give it to Ronnie Brown, the veteran, formerly with Miami, Philly, and San Diego, met by Hankins and McClain, a 1-yard gain. This Tuesday on CBS, it's the season premiere you've been waiting for. TV's #1 drama, NCIS, is back in action Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, only CBS.
They may have been outgained, but their time of possession is 4th best in the NFL coming in.
But they had Arian Foster the last 2 weeks.
That is a rather large punt.
Excuse me. On a handoff, no gain for Brown. Jason Pierre-Paul in on that stop. And Pierre-Paul is feeling the best he's felt, he told us, in the last 2 years physically.
He felt confident that the front 4 would do their job today, especially against this challenging zone stretch type of running attack. But again, Arian Foster's on the sidelines in sweat clothes. 0 for 4, converting 3rd down so far in the first half for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
On 3rd down for Houston, short pass, hoping Johnson can create. He cannot. brought down shy of the 20-yard line by Pierre Paul and Demontre Moore, who the Giants have high hopes for in his second year from Texas A&M. It's a loss of 1 on the play.
That is asking an awful lot of Andre Johnson to turn a short pass like that into a first down, because the Giants are in zone coverage here. Look at the way they're playing. You can see the break by Amukamara and then the pursuit. JPP right in there.
Another punt for Leckler. Opportunity for Parker. Parker backpedals to the 26, has some room. Parker, he gets stamped at the 37-yard line by Akeem Dent on special teams. 54-yard punt, penalty marker thrown back at the 22-yard line of Houston.
Holding receiving team number 98. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
And it is Demontre Moore. More special teams mistakes for Tom Coughlin's squad.
The Giants have gained 178 yards in the first half on 28 plays. There's been 2 big miscues. The fumble there at the 5-yard line by Donnell, and then the bad snap by Zach Diassi. No 3 points there, no 7 points before, and the loss of 29 on that bad snap.
So nothing to show for the first 4 possessions on the scoreboard. They take over a 1st and 10 at the 17 after the penalty backed them up. Here's Manning. Offline, Ruben Randall, the intended receiver, defended by Joseph for Houston.
Yeah, good that Joseph's back in the game. So is Kareem Jackson. So the starting corners for the Texans have shaken off early injuries.
Dan, the adjustments of Eli Manning to this new offense, but there's also adjustments for the wide receivers as well. We'll get into that in a moment. Manning is 9 of 13, 108 yards. Give it to Jennings. Blast through, spin move, and Jennings gets hit from behind as he carries it. Reed and Muhammad bring him down. It's a 10-yard gain for Rashad Jennings. He's been the go-to guy for the Giants.
Well, and it's all been Jennings running behind this offensive line. Had the lead blocker one time, but look at this hole here. As Justin Pugh does a nice job of coming off in the linebacker, and Jennings picks up the first down. 13 carries, already 85 yards for Jennings.
We come up on 7 minutes to go in the first. Jennings bounces off his own man, Donnell, and then Merciless brings him down. What about wide receivers? What's the perspective for them in this West Coast offense working with Eli Manning?
Well, the key in this offense and many offenses for the receivers, don't fool the quarterback. Be where you're supposed to be and be there on time. The quarterback takes a certain amount of steps in his drop. That relates to the number of yards the receiver has to go down the field and get ready to receive the pass.
You worked with Bill Walsh in this type of offense?
In 1976, if I can remember back that far.
You remember.
I did. He really helped me a great deal.
Larry Donnell going upstairs. Manning put it high. Donnell's a huge target, 6'6". That's 18 yards on the hookup.
Yeah, he's got about 7 inches on Danielle Manning. And this ball put up high. Look at that catch. He stopped it with his left arm and pulled it in.
Line of scrimmage is now the 49. Coughlin telling his team, get moving, get to the line of scrimmage. They want that rhythm. Handed off, Jennings dumped by Jackson. Pressing the line, Kareem Jackson reads it perfectly for a loss of 2.
Well, Jackson came off the field limping just a little bit, but look at how he explodes on the blitz there from his slot corner position.
Brian Cushing, the Pro Bowler, has not been in defensively for Houston on this possession. Dime package for the Texans. Manning, quick hitter, Cruz, hit immediately by Boyer. So these corners are getting tested and they're passing. Gain of 1 on the play. Cushing was hoping to get in on this upcoming 3rd down. He remains on the sideline out of Park Ridge, New Jersey. Brian Cushing played his high school football in Oradell, New Jersey at Bergen Catholic, about 20 minutes from MetLife Stadium. 25 tickets for family and friends.
He had lunch at home.
Not bad.
Yesterday.
Got to hang out in his old bedroom. His parents didn't turn it into an office or a workout room yet.
It's a bit of a shrine there.
Manning on the sideline route. Preston Parker.
But this is what we're talking about, the timing. Perfect timing on this. Watch as Eli drops back 3 steps and lets it go long before Parker will turn and make the catch. The ball is halfway to him. Easy adjustment, first down.
Parker had 40 catches for the Buccaneers back in 2011, was out of football last year. So a terrific story, getting an opportunity with the injury to Terrell Jernigan, who's out for the season with a mid-foot sprain. New set of downs for the Giants. Manning throws, and he has got Parker again. We asked Coughlin about Parker. He says he's got good speed. We asked Eli about him and said he's a professional, knows what he's doing out there, asks a lot of questions.
Well, Morris led him to the inside because he thought he had help from Mike Mohammed, the inside linebacker. Mohammed just missed on that slant route. Good for 13.
Manning has put up good numbers, 13 of 17, 153 yards. No points, though, for the Giants with 3:40 to go in this first half. 12 first downs for the Giants. Houston limited to 3. Here comes the rush. They handle it. Wide open. Victor Cruz. He's got the angle. Touchdown. The salsa is back. Victor Cruz. His first touchdown catch here at MetLife Stadium since 2012.
He just shows you what a special player he is he makes Jackson miss and then has the speed to get to the flag and reach the ball across the goal line. What a move. Another good one there. And now you know he's thinking dancing.
We asked him about the dance. He said, it's been a while since I've done it. I think I've forgotten how to do it. He remembered. He was smiling when he said it. We didn't believe it for a moment. Victor Cruz, a captain this year for the first time in his career, heard boos last week here at home against Arizona.
They're going to take a look at this scoring play, and they're going to tell you that it's a touchdown. Knee is off the ground. The ball breaks the plane. All the time.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL, and by Quicken Loans, for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Victor Cruz went 65 catches without a touchdown and finally gets into the end zone. It's official on the board. Giants take the lead against the Texans.
Manning on the drive, 5 of 6. Hit 5 in a row, 79 yards, 179 so far in the first half. Only 1 sack.
Last touchdown for Cruz was week 4 of 2013. He was on the road. Extra point, Josh Brown, 9 plays, 83 yards for Tom Coughlin's team. Victor Cruz finally gets a chance to celebrate, honoring his grandmother's memory with the salsa. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a special preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. Well, Victor Cruz, first touchdown at home since December of 2012 against Philadelphia. In there is Odell Beckham Jr., the rookie out of LSU, who has not played a down for the Giants. Beckham dealing with an injured hamstring. He originally hurt it during organized team activities in June. Re-injured it the first day of training camp. Returnable kick from Brown. Johnson. Oh, Johnson ran into his own man and got hit hard on the play. Peyton Hillis on special teams making the stick.
This is the perils of being a special teamer here. Hillis from one side, and that play stopped inside the 20.
Ryan Griffin who was a backup tight end with Houston, was trying to block all 6'6", 254 pounds of him, and Johnson ran right into his backside. 7-0 Giants in front, flags down. Fitzpatrick throwing the deep ball, looking for a free play. Oh, spectacular catch! DeAndre Hopkins. He has got a knack for making sensational plays.
Now, what is the flag all about?
Illegal formation. Offense. The wide receiver covered number 74, who reported as eligible. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Watch the left hand. He stops it, grabs it with one hand. Adjusting his body in midair. Oh, the wonder of gloves sometimes, too. Very tackified. Great catch.
But no stickum.
No stickum, but those are real sticky gloves, and he needed every bit of that. Too bad that it all for nothing.
Do you think back that some of your interceptions in your career should be taken off the board because of the stickum?
Well, Lester Hayes, I would never shake hands with him after a game because I would never get my hand back. He is covered in stickum. Darn Raiders.
Still bothers you, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
1st and 15 for Houston. Nothing to show for that incredible grab by Hopkins. Rush coming. Fitzpatrick in trouble. Fitzpatrick is dumped by McClain. Jameel McClain, the former Baltimore Raven, signed to a 2-year, $4.5 million deal, gets to the QB for New York.
Yeah, he's unblocked. He gets by the block of the rookie, Alfred Blue. Picks up his first sack of the season. And the Giants have momentum. They got this crowd into the ball game. They've been in the end zone, and they have a lead.
Houston had not allowed a sack this season prior to this one against the Giants. We come up on 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Give it to Blue. Hit hard. Look at all the blue jerseys in the area, led by Cullen Jenkins. Gain of 1.5 yards. 2 minutes to play. First half. Giants lead the Texans 7-0. Bill O'Brien is the head coach of the Texans, is also the offensive coordinator, calls the plays along with some help from quarterbacks coach George Gotsey. O'Brien spent the last 2 years as the head coach at Penn State. Prior to that, served under Bill Belichick with the Patriots for 5 years. This is a 3rd and 19. Andre Johnson has been limited. 2 catches, 6 yards. From the gun, Fitzpatrick slings it. Intercepted! It is picked off by Antrell Roll. Roll makes a cut. Roll hit inside the 5. They nearly took it back all the way. A 27-yard return for the leader on defense for New York.
Again, it's good pressure on the quarterback trying to force the ball to Andre Johnson here. We'll get a break on the ball by Roll. And then very determined to get into the end zone. Makes Fitzpatrick miss there. Gets it all the way down to the 2. Second pick of the first half for the Giants.
Antrell Roll preaching to his teammates. Take some chances out there. Create some opportunities. 3 tight ends in this formation. Stutter step from Jennings going over the top. But short of the goal line. 1-yard gain for the veteran Jennings.
And you know, you can talk in practice when you're in a losing streak as the Giants are, and you can do all this rally in the locker room and everything. But when you make the play on the field, obviously it just speaks volumes. And a leader such as Roll, who takes on that personality of the University of Miami players where he played, they expect to win, and he expects to make big plays.
Second and goal. Jennings. Second effort. He's short. Brian Cushing helped save the touchdown. 1:10 to play in this first half.
Good job of penetration here. Watch Cushing make the play there as he comes over the top, selling out and getting help there as they keep Jennings out of the end zone. Mike Muhammad combining with Cushing.
Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Power, the latest NFL scores and highlights. Special preview Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Romeo Crennel expecting a pass here on third down has substituted smaller guys for the big guys. It'll be interesting to see if McAdoo has recognized that and changes his play selection here.
Third and goal. Giants trying to add to the lead. Knifing through Rashad Jennings. Touchdown, Giants.
Excellent job of recognition by Ben McAdoo. Seeing the substitutions coming in, not going with the pass against extra defensive backs, and Jennings goes in easily. Mosley on the right side. John Jerry is in there now, and Pugh just cleans out that defensive line, undersized.
Josh Brown on for the extra point. Giants extend to a 14-0 advantage with 1:07 to go. In this second quarter, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 2 interceptions, now 3 of 9 throwing the ball. Giants make the most of it, turned it into 7 points and a 2-touchdown lead. Tomorrow's the night for the Big Bang Theory season premiere. Don't miss 2 new back-to-back episodes on its new night. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. 1:07 to play in this first half. Josh Brown kicking it off to Morris Johnson, the return man. And it won't even get an opportunity here as it sails through the back of the end zone. Eli Manning, working with the new offense, felt there was progress from week 1 to week 2. Well, it has progressed into week 3. 14 of 18, 179 yards, a touchdown. More responsibility on Fitzpatrick without Foster because of the hamstring injury, and the Houston offense has struggled.
Yeah, and you got to remember that Eli and the Giants offense have overcome a couple of disastrous plays with the fumble by Donnell and then the bad snap by Diassi. Bounced back well.
Texans have it at the 20-yard line, working with a long field and just over a minute left. Fitzpatrick, plenty of time, airs it out. Too high for Andre Johnson, drawing Rogers Cromartie.
That's a pretty good matchup, too. Andre Johnson with 941 career catches. And with the field position as it is and the score as it is, you can see Rogers Cromartie giving Johnson a lot of room. Fitzpatrick had time to complete that one, but threw it high.
We talked about Cruz's touchdown drought. Johnson has one himself. 62 catches now without a touchdown for Andre Johnson. It's had 500 catch seasons in his career. Underneath, Keyshawn Martin, third year out of Michigan State. He's spun down by Stevie Brown. It's a 16-yard game. And Houston trying to work quickly here with 47 seconds to go in the first half. They worked out Arian Foster before the game. He was not able to go with the hamstring trouble. There's Fitzpatrick. Curls out of trouble. Fitzpatrick on the move. And ducks out of bounds. Forced out by Robert Ayers and Matthias Kiwanuka. 32 seconds left. It's actually going to go down as a sack. Loss of 1 on the play.
Good mobility by Fitzpatrick. A better runner than people think. He did everything possible to stay away from Jason Pierre-Paul.
Ryan Fitzpatrick making his 80th career start in the NFL. And he's a guy that will extend plays because of his legs. He also has a very full beard. He has gone Amish mode. Fitzpatrick gets rid of it. And the miscues piling up now for Houston.
Well, remember on the first interception, Chris Myers gave Fitzpatrick a bad snap. This time he gives him a fastball. Just goes whistling right by his left hand. It's always the danger of the shotgun is a bad snap. And when things are going bad as they are for the Texans in this first half, that sometimes is the result. Great play by Fitzpatrick to find a receiver to throw the ball at to avoid that disastrous sack. A loss of yardage.
27 seconds remain now. 3rd and 11 for Houston. Jonathan Grimes is in. Fitzpatrick has the time. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. Rogers Cromartie jumping the route. in front of Keyshawn Martin, and it's 4th down.
Well, if that ball had been up just a little bit more, DRC would be in the end zone doing his own dance. He broke on this ball very quickly. The ball comes in real low. But look who had the better shot at it. How about the Texans unable to convert on third down here in the first half. Now 0 for 7. So close.
Giants use a timeout. 22 seconds left. And a frustrating day for Fitzpatrick. Not the case for Eli Manning. Things have clicked on offense for the Giants. This could be a bigger lead than 14-0.
The Giants tried to put pressure on Leckler the last time he punted in his career, and he's had over 1,100 punts. He's only had 4 punts blocked. One of the all-time greats, averaging 50 yards a punt so far this year, and he's 1 for 1 passing.
Texans are 2-0 for the 5th consecutive season. They lost their last 13 games of the season last year as Parker takes it up the middle. Gets hit by the snapper Weeks, first man downfield for Houston. 56-yard punt, a 12-yard return, and 7 seconds remain in this second quarter. So Eli Manning looking more comfortable in this West Coast offense. Had a league-high 27 interceptions last season. 2 interceptions each of the first 2 games, so 4 through 2 weeks. But a touchdown in this first half, 179 yards through the air, high completion percentage, 14 of 18, and Tom Coughlin heads to the locker room with a 14-0 lead on Houston as we hit the break at MetLife. Giants looking for their first win of the season. They've had 7 straight losses in September games. Last September win was September the 20th, 2012 at Carolina, 36-7 on a Thursday night. Started last season 0-6. And we'll step aside here for the end of the first half. Verizon Halftime Report is coming up after this message, a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL. The New York Giants can't get out of their own way. Wide open, Victor Cruz, he's got the angle, touchdown! Getting ready for the start of the third quarter at MetLife Stadium. 14-0, the Giants leading the Texans. Let's take a look at our DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Eli Manning to Victor Cruz.
That's what a quarterback dreams of, is blocking up the blitz, man-to-man in the coverage, getting the ball to your most elusive player, and then Cruz paying it off with a tremendous effort to cross the goal line.
And back here in the broadcast booth, Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts. Jenny Dell will join us from the sidelines momentarily. Okay, from the Giants' perspective, start there. Fans have been clamoring for more offense and a flow on offense. They got to see that in the first half.
Eli has just sacked that one time, and his rhythm and timing has been perfect, and they're making plays in the secondary against this pretty tough Texan defense. But I think the Giants have to be very happy with the way the offense is working. Ben McAdoo told me earlier in the week that they want to run about 70 plays in the game, 70-plus plays. They're well on track to do that this afternoon.
From the Houston side of things, 83 total yards of offense in the first half. Fitzpatrick, 4 of 13 for 39 yards, 2 interceptions, no Arian Foster. They actually established the run early with Alfred Blue, the rookie out of LSU, but then got away from it. Houston won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they will receive it with Damaris Johnson. Up the middle, Johnson hit from the side at the 26-yard line. That's where Houston will have it. Quentin Demps with the stick. Let's send it downstairs to Jenny Dell.
Lion, I was able to speak with both coaches at the half, and Coach O'Brien said it was just 30 minutes of football and 30 minutes of bad football. They need to make adjustments, and they will do that coming back from the half. Coach O'Brien said it's finally nice to play with a lead, but we need to finish, and that's the word he kept using, was finish. They need to keep the pressure on and really stop those miscues and those mistakes that they had, guys.
All right, Jenny, Coach Coughlin's team does have the lead at 14-0. And Fitzpatrick going to work. Gets it to Garrett Graham. Graham has his first catch for 10 yards. Look at the first half numbers. 262 total yards for the New York Giants, and time of possession, third downs, a storyline for Houston, and over in that first half. Give it to Blue. Toppled down. Rogers Cromartie pushing through for a loss of 2 on the play.
And you see the Texans going to a up-tempo offense here. A lot of teams will do this now because they feel that the crowd is not quite back when they're on the road from halftime. And you can see there are a lot of still empty seats in the stands. That means the communication is going to be a lot better for the visiting team when they go with the no-huddle offense.
2nd and 12 for Houston. Fitzpatrick, the 10-year veteran, steps and throws to Graham. Takes a shot from Williams. Graham to the 45-yard line. It's an 11-yard gain, just short of a first down.
Well, Texan tight ends have only caught 2 passes all year coming in, and Graham with back-to-back catches now.
Trying to work quickly here. Alfred Blue needed 1 yard, and the initial spot does not appear to be enough. No gain on the play.
You can see, Blue, just a rookie, doesn't quite have the coordination with the offensive line, obviously, that Arian Foster has. He kind of rushed that stretch play. They'll go for it on 4th and short.
Give it to Blue again. Brought down. Denied. Alfred Blue. Nothing Arian Foster can do from the sideline. The Giants defense comes up big. Texans turn it over on downs. First possession of the second half. Bill O'Brien making the decision to go for it. First possession of the second half on 4th and 1. They didn't get it. How about that call?
Well, if you have Arian Foster in the game, I think you do that, but not with the rookie.
Jennings trying to make him pay on the other side. Pugh with a good block for Jennings for 9.5.
Watch how slow they are off the ball, and then watch the play that Mike Patterson makes here to go low, knock over Brooks, but look at how Blue forces that cut up the field when he could have bounced it to the outside, maybe picked it up out there.
Blue on the play, ran into his own man, Derek Newton. Hankins also there defensively. Here's Jennings. Rashad Jennings. Nice cut. Some words exchanged at the end of the play with Kendrick Lewis. It's a 13-yard gain, and Jennings now has over 100 yards. 111 on the day. Giants, largest halftime lead they've had since December of 2012 against Philadelphia.
Here it comes, it!
Jennings.
It's nothing fancy either. I mean, it's just Jennings straight up the middle against this defense. Texans have great lateral movement and speed. Right now, they're being overpowered by the Giant offensive line.
5th 100-yard rushing game in Rashad Jennings' career. He has outrushed the Houston team. I'm talking about their entire yards of offense, Houston. Jennings again straight ahead. Plunges for 3. 11:35 to play in the third. And it's Giants threatening again, Dan.
Well, with the success they're having on the ground, now you're thinking, well, a little bootleg, a little rollout by Eli. You're in the red zone at the 15-yard line.
This offensive line has played well. Did not play well in week 1 against Detroit. Improved in week 2 against Arizona. And just like that, J.J. Watt slides in and blows up the play.
Well, tremendous quickness. Look at the swim move there. He's 6'7" and just a marvelous athlete. You can see how he dives. He creates that 6-yard loss, and that'll force the Giants into a field goal try.
Well, this was an adventure earlier. The poor snap from Diassi. Do it again, this time from 39 yards away. Brown connects. Giants fans react. And it's a 17-0 New York lead in the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm Lovin' It. And by the Lincoln Motor Company and the first ever MKC.
Back at MetLife Stadium, better than 82,000 on hand for the Giants and the Texans. 10:39 to play in the third quarter. The Giants in front 17-0 on Houston. Josh Brown kicking off after the 39-yard field goal. Damaris Johnson will keep it there and take a knee out to the 20-yard line for the Texans. Well, we know that Antrell Roll plays with a lot of passion, but Danny also speaks with a lot of passion. When we sat down with him yesterday, he got right to the heart of the issue. We asked him about Houston. He said, yeah, we respect the opponent, but ultimately it's about everybody in that locker room, the Giants locker room. It's on them right now, and he's really led this spirited play from the Giants in week 3.
We talked about getting everybody on the same page, where real coordination between the offense and defense so far in this one.
Fitzpatrick over the middle. It's DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins with a big gain on first down for 21 yards, brought down by Roll.
Well, this time he's going to use both his hands, and the last one he just used his left hand. That's a perfect pass by Fitzpatrick, because it's to the breadbasket, right on the body. The receiver doesn't have to worry about getting hit, because if there's contact nearby, he can just crouch down and absorb the hit without risking a fumble.
We asked Fitzpatrick about the transition to Houston. He said it's a great locker room. The veterans are terrific. You'd never know this team was 2-14 last year. Fitzpatrick coming over from Tennessee. On first down, Fitzpatrick handled by Hopkins and hit in Giants territory. Another Houston first down. Herzlich will get credit for the stop. It's a 12-yard catch and run.
I'm sure that Bill O'Brien challenged the offensive line, probably the entire offense in the locker room. How about that catch with the hands of Hopkins?
Third catch, 50 yards for Hopkins. Texans are in a 17-0 hole against the Giants. Houston wins over Washington and Oakland in the first 2 weeks. Fitzpatrick gets out of trouble. Fitzpatrick and across the 45. He's brought down to the 44. A 3-yard scramble for the Harvard product, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So far in this second half, Fitzpatrick 4 of 4. Had 2 picks in the first half.
Gone to Graham twice on the previous drive and to Hopkins twice on this drive.
He's had that gunslinger's mentality throughout his career, going back to St. Louis and Cincinnati, Buffalo, Tennessee.
Yeah, it comes with a number.
Second and 7. To Andre Johnson for a first down. Short of the 30-yard line. Covered there by Amukamara. It's an 11-yard gain.
And the pass protection has been pretty good. Good mobility by Fitzpatrick as well, but he's got a hot hand now, obviously.
I'm a little slow. You're saying the number 14 makes you a gunslinger?
No, why until he started it all.
And you carried it right through into the 80s?
That's why I wore 14. Are you kidding me?
New set of downs for Houston. Fitzpatrick slings it complete to Hopkins. Met there by Rogers Cromartie. We are under 8 minutes to play now in the third quarter, and Houston is on the move.
Kiwanuka comes in and replaces Demontre Moore. Giants need a pass rush.
Houston going empty backfield here, letting Fitzpatrick run the show and get the receivers involved. He's 6 of 6. Again, Fitzpatrick ricochets, incomplete, and a flag thrown at the 21. Johnson and Amukamara.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 21, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's Dominique Rogers Cromartie, signed as a free agent, most recently with Denver.
He had a pretty good hold on DeAndre Hopkins. Great move by Hopkins there, and then their right hand grabs the jersey, and that's an easy call for the officials.
You may have gotten some hair as well with the jersey.
That's legal. You can grab the hair. You've got it.
On first down, it's Fitzpatrick. Catch made by Garrett Graham. Texans now have it at the 11-yard line after the 6-yard gain. J.J. Watt has got the helmet on. He played tight end last week and caught a touchdown in that win over Oakland.
I'd love to see him split out wide and go for a fade at 6'7" in a long reach. Who could guard him?
That was rhetorical, right? Because I don't have an answer.
George Murison, perhaps?
Yeah, I think Georgie could man up with him at 7'7".
Next broadcaster.
He doesn't know my name, Georgie. 2nd and 4. Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick spun down inside the 10 by Jenkins, a 3-yard pickup. Let's take you back last week. J.J. Watt wide open, a 1-yard touchdown catch, the first reception in Watt's 4-year career. 3rd and 1. Fitzpatrick stepping up, buying time, throws on the move, drop ball. Andre Johnson tried to haul it in. Jaquan Williams put the pressure on Fitzpatrick.
Well, if Bill O'Brien went for it previously and didn't get it on 4th and short at midfield, he's not going to go for it now. He's going to bring out the field goal kicking team. This is an unusual call as well. Andre Johnson, you've seen him make that catch 1,000 times. Great job by Fitzpatrick to find Johnson, but no payoff.
Trying to get points on the board, a 27-yard chip shot. Randy Bullock. And he knocks it through. 17-3. Giants in front of the Texans. We still have 6:09 to play. 3rd quarter. MetLife Stadium. With NFL Now, you can access the biggest NFL video library on the planet. Select your favorite teams or players, and NFL Now delivers nonstop videos on your favorite device. Get NFL Now free at NFL.com/now. 9 plays, 71-yard drive, 4.5 minutes. Bullock, the 27-yard field goal. And now he kicks it off. Quentin Dempsey, 8 yards deep in the end zone. He'll take a knee, and the Giants will have it at the 20-yard line. Giants and Texans, just the 4th all-time meeting. It's the 90th season of New York Giants football and the 13th year in franchise history for the Texans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile and by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement.
Giants lead the Texans 17-3 with 6:09 to go in the 3rd. Play fake. Manning throws to the open Daniel Fells. Veteran tight end Fells with a flag on the play.
It's going to be against the Texans, but it's been Rashad Jennings right up the middle today. Not a lot of wide plays, just blasted right through the offensive line. And 23 carries, 112, 1 touchdown. In fact, the last drive, he ran it 5 straight times. And you can see the Giants come out with a play-action fake there and get Fells for a big gain and add that 15-yard personal foul penalty. And the Giants are near midfield in 1 play.
Face mask called against Jared Crick of Houston. So Giants now have it at the 48-yard line. Turned into a 28-yard gain after the penalty. Andre Williams brought down in Houston territory, able to drive Jonathan Joseph back off his acceleration. 6-yard gain.
Yeah, Williams 5'11", 230. And he got down real low that time and used that power to pick up extra yards. Looked like he was hit right about the line of scrimmage, but with all that power, picked up a good gain on 1st down.
He's a power back, nearly 2,200 rushing yards as a senior. That 6-yard run, his longest in his short NFL career, now in his 3rd game. Williams gets the carry again, this time met by Brooks Reed. It's a 2-yard gain. So the Giants have gone to the running game in this 2nd half. Rashad Jennings on the previous drive, and now Williams getting his opportunity. They have nearly doubled their total average of the first 2 games. And McAdoo mixing it up, but now it's a 3rd and 2 for the Giants. Under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Manning is 15 of 19, 192 yards and a touchdown. Passing on third down, timing route, too high for Victor Cruz. Penalty marker thrown at the 29.
It's going to be offensive pass interference.
Pass interference. Offense number 84. Penalties decline. Fourth down.
So this drive stalls in Houston territory, with the Giants in front 17-3.
The Giants took very little time off the clock on that drive. Penalty and incomplete pass stopped the clock.
Giants have had 17 straight games scoring under 28 points. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. Weatherford the punt. Demarcus Johnson the return man. Johnson fair catch. Caught at the 6. It's a 37-yard punt. Texans, they got a lot of real estate in front of them, trailing 17-3. Arian Foster, 55 carries in the first 2 games, the most in the NFL over that span. Trying to replace him today because of the hamstring injury. Blue, Grimes, and Brown, they have not been able to fill Foster's shoes. 138 yards rushing last week and a touchdown against Oakland. Alfred Blue is met quickly. Muka Mara in run support. 2.5-yard gain.
And when you go back to the start of the game, Blue had some very positive runs, but the Giants have adjusted well, especially the front four. But this is absolutely critical drive, really, for both teams. Giants have seized the momentum. The Texans are backed up, difficult territory.
2 tight ends, Graham and Fedorowicz for Houston. 2nd and 8 for the Texans. Giants press the line. They give it to Blue. Blue gets through that first wave, and he's still going. Alfred Blue working the sideline and brought down from behind. Muka Mara giving chase. Foster cheering from the sidelines. It's a 46-yard run for the rookie Blue.
Watch both linebackers come here. And Blue, because of the blitz, is going to find just a little bit of a crack there. Good job by Brandon Brooks. And then downfield, the block by Graham sets him to the sideline for that 46-yarder.
11 carries, 76 yards. He had 30 yards on 10 carries prior to that run. Ronnie Brown is in. And he picks up a yard running inside. Line of scrimmage is now the 44 of New York. Jason Pierre-Paul in on that stop for the Giants. So as Blue gets a rest, Ronnie Brown getting the opportunity now for Houston.
Brown, the 10-year veteran, very calming influence on the young running backs. And very similar style to Arian Foster.
Pro Bowler in 2008 as a member of the Miami Dolphins. Remember when the Wildcat was born in the NFL with Miami. Brown was right in the middle of it. Play fake, Fitzpatrick. Deep ball, separation, caught! Demarcus Johnson, touchdown Texans! Perfectly executed, 44 yards on the bomb.
What an answer by the Texans. The long run by Blue, and then Fitzpatrick off the play fake to Brown, looking the safety off to the weak side. That was enough to keep Stevie Brown from getting the proper depth. Johnson sneaks in behind him and gets the perfect pass from Fitzpatrick.
Demarcus Johnson released by the Philadelphia Eagles, picked up by the Texans. Houston goes 4 plays, 93 yards. And the extra point cuts it to 7. We've got 2:13 to play in the third quarter. Texans trying to rally on the road against the Giants.
We talked about Fitzpatrick's experience. Watch how he will look to this side of the field and what effect it has on Stevie Brown. Right down the slot goes the receiver Johnson, and that one misstep there trying to read the quarterback's eyes was a killer for the Giants, and just what the Texans need to get back in this game. Great job by Fitzpatrick.
7-point difference now with 2:13 to go in the third. Stevie Brown, who tore his ACL last year in the preseason, back with the Giants playing that safety spot. He had 8 interceptions in 2012. But Brown misplayed the deep ball from Fitzpatrick as Demarcus Johnson was able to get behind the defense for the touchdown. Bullock will kick it off. Quinton Demps standing 5 yards deep in the end zone. Moving forward, Demps from the 5. And Demps is brought down at the 22-yard line by Jeff Tarpinian. 17-10, Giants in front. It has been a difficult week for the NFL and for Commissioner Roger Goodell. But Goodell on hand here at MetLife Stadium, taking in the Giants and the Texans and meeting up with fans. There is still a lot of work to be done. The off-the-field issues involving Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, and those issues are not going away.
We got 300 scat. Tight band.
Jennings in. Manning and the Giants now nursing a 7-point lead. Having to throw it. Outside Donnell, good hands. Those long strides of Larry Donnell brought down by Whitney Merciless. It's a 10-yard gain for the Giants.
Long strides and long arms. Look as he reaches out for this ball. But the impressive acceleration right here to get around the corner and pick up the first down. J.J. Watt almost getting to Eli.
3 receivers set on a 1st and 10 at the 33. We're down to 1:40 to play in the third. Running play for Jennings. Has caught. Jennings gets some daylight on the outside and veers out of bounds. He has ran the football well. 15-yard gain for Rashad Jennings. Now 127 yards rushing.
Well, this was supposed to be a blast play over the strong side, but he saw it was all clogged up there and used real good explosiveness and speed to pick up another Giant first down.
6 defensive backs on the field. The Giants have run against that dime package from Houston. And he gets rid of it quickly. The curl. Preston Parker. Brought down by Brooks Reed. And again, here's the rhythm that you talked about earlier in this West Coast offense. A 7-yard pickup for the Giants.
And the reception to Randall so quick, or rather to Parker, so quick that Jonathan Josephs read it, but he could not make the tackle.
Manning 17 of 22, 209 yards.
118.
Second and short. Rashad Jennings. The engine is always on for Jennings. Jared Crick could not bring him down initially, and then Jennings turns it into a 6-yard gain and a fresh set of downs for the Giants.
Yeah, he's shown power, and that time he showed elusiveness. He makes Crick miss in the backfield. Bring us to the end of the third quarter as Tom Coughlin decides to cool their jets. Good drive by the Giants, answering that Texan quick drive of 93 yards.
So the Giants will be set up 1st and 10 at the Houston 39 when we come back. End of the third quarter. 17-10, the Giants in front of the Texans. Back to the Meadowlands after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Statistical leaders, Texans and the Giants. Fitzpatrick has picked it up, 164 yards, those 2 interceptions in the first half. Eli Manning, no mistakes. Rashad Jennings, he's been the bell cow for the Giants, 133 yards and a touchdown. And Victor Cruz, 4 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. Giants have held Andre Johnson in check, 3 catches for 17 yards. First play of the fourth quarter. Ryan Eagle, Dan Fouts, Jenny Dell, the rest of our CBS crew, producer Mark Wolf, director Bob Fishman and company. Manning throws on first down. It's complete. The connection made to Victor Cruz. And another New York first down. That's 13 yards through the air.
Texans thought that the Giants had moved early, came out of their stance and started yelling at the officials. They thought that J.D. Walton moved the ball. All centers moved the ball a little bit.
36. 4 down. Hey, go to 56.
Quality drive from the Giants. Cruz has now gone over 100 yards receiving. Shotgun Manning. Underneath to Donnell. Larry Donnell hit along the sideline by Brooks Reed. And a modest gain, 4 yards on first down.
You really got to give this offensive line a lot of credit. They're rushing the ball with Jennings very well. They've only allowed Eli to get sacked one time, and that's the only time he's hit the turf all day. That was way back in the first quarter by J.J. Watt.
And it's a retooled offensive line. Chris Snee, David Deal retired before the season. They had to move some pieces around. Weston Richburg stepping in for the injured Jeff Schwartz. Richburg was going to be on the right side. John Jerry, who came over from Miami, is manning that right guard spot. 2nd and 7, rush coming, and trying to dump it off to Jennings, and a penalty marker thrown at the 26.
Holding, defense number 38. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Danielle Manning, the former Chicago Bear, now in his 2nd stint with Houston.
This is going to be a screen pass to Rashad Jennings, and Manning did a good job of reading it, breaking on it, but he wrapped up Jennings as the ball was being thrown.
So Giants are in the red zone once again. 5th time today they have been inside the Houston 20. Early stages, 4th quarter. Giants trying to get back that 2-score advantage. They lead at 17-10. Single setback is Jennings. Give it to Jennings. The zigzag by Jennings. He's tough to bring down. At 6'1", 231. Blocks from Donnell and Beatty. That's a 7-yard pickup for Jennings.
And he stepped out of the tackle of Brian Cushing.
1 touchdown, 1 field goal, and 4 red zone possessions prior to this one for Tom Coughlin's group.
1 fumble and 1 bad Zach Diassi snap.
140 yards on the ground for Jennings, who will now set up just to the side of Manning. Take the handoff. Ruben Randall is buried. 3 Texans there, led by DJ Swearinger. Held to 1 yard on the pass.
Yeah, good job on the outside. Victor Cruz trying to get a block, but Swearinger saw that quick pass out to Randall, broke on it quickly, but this rhythm and timing of this pass offense has never looked better for the Giants. It's really helping out the offensive line as well. Manning a perfect 5 for 5 on this drive.
This is a 3rd and 2 for the Giants. Manning looks, knocked up in the air, almost intercepted. It was up for grabs, and Jeffrey Pagan, the rookie out of Alabama, had a shot at it. It's 4th down.
Well, it's J.J. Watt who got up in the air to block it. Something he does better than anybody else in the game. Those passes defensed and sacks. Unparalleled.
29-yard field goal for Josh Brown. Made one from 39 yards away. Looking to extend the lead. Knocks it through the uprights. 20-10. Giants. 12-19 mark of the 4th. This one was a little too close for comfort. Put 3 on the board. Giants go 10 plays, 66 yards, 4 minutes and 54 seconds to get the 29-yard field goal from Josh Brown. Eli Manning was 5 of 6 on the drive, and Ben McAdoo's offense has produced 20 points. Damaris Johnson, the return man, tripped up at the 27-yard line. Spencer Pasinger on special teams. Thursday, your football week starts right here. Huge NFC East rivalry, the Giants against Washington. Another big-time matchup in primetime. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network and CBS. Well, since 2002, it's a series that's been controlled by the Giants. 17-7. 6 playoff appearances for the Giants over that span. A couple of Super Bowls as well. We'll have it for you on Thursday Night Football right here on CBS. Alfred Blue in the backfield on a 1st and 10 for Houston. Blue gets the call. Not a lot of room to work with there. Jaquan Williams with a stop. It's a 1-yard gain as we send it down to the sidelines to Jenny Dell.
Well, Ian, it's like the tale of two sidelines down here. The Giants energized, pumped up. They've been fired up from the get-go. And here on the Texans side, it is very quiet. There was a little life after that Johnson touchdown in the 3rd, but a lot of blank stares down here right now.
Well, Jenny, Houston is 2-0. They were 2-0 last year as well, then lost their next 14 games. Changes were made. Coaching staff philosophically had the worst record in the NFL. #1 draft pick. Jadeveon Clowney, though, had arthroscopic knee surgery a couple of weeks ago, so he hasn't been part of the action. Falling down to Morris Johnson on the play.
First time we've seen the fly sweep today, and Johnson with a head of steam trying to cut too quickly. The third-year player just a little over anxious, lost his footing. Almost turned his ankle there as he's in behind Graham, looking to get yardage.
And a change defensively for the Giants on this possession. Nat Burhay has been in for Stevie Brown, who got burned on the previous Houston long pass to Johnson for the touchdown. Fitzpatrick puts the helmet down. Did he get enough?
I don't think so. I think they're going to be 0 for 10 now on 3rd downs, which is amazing considering they were 55% coming in. Kiwanuka now having trouble getting up.
It'll be decision time for Houston. They'll deal with Kiwanuka first on the Giant side.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. Bud Light reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at KBB.com.
Matthias Kiwanuka appears to be okay, walked off on his own. The call on the field was enough for a 1st down. Tom Coughlin is questioning that call with a challenge. So Coughlin is challenging the spot off the scramble by Fitzpatrick. On 3rd down, Fitzpatrick looking for the necessary yardage to move the chains.
A great effort by Fitzpatrick as he dives head first, so he gets all of the slide until he's contacted there. The knee goes down, but the dive, where is the ball when the knee hits the ground?
He had to get to the 37 for the 1st down. The knee is down right there.
Yeah, he's short. He's short about a half yard. It's a good challenge by Tom Coughlin. I just wonder why he didn't challenge while we were in commercial and save some time.
Well, he built the drama.
Well, he was asking upstairs of his coaching staff. We were looking at the replays, and I've got to believe that Fitzpatrick's left knee was down when the ball was about a half a yard short of the 1st down marker. Great effort, though.
Again, on the live look, both you and I felt that Fitzpatrick had come up just a bit short, and Bill O'Brien was going to have to make a decision on 4th and short. Now waiting on the official word from Terry McCauley. There's the right knee there.
Yeah, the ball is about the 36-yard line. Needed to get to the 37 for the 1st down.
The runner was down at the 36-yard line, 1 yard short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th and 1. New York is not charged with a timeout.
10:41 to play in the 4th, and the decision is pretty straightforward for Bill O'Brien. He's going to punt it.
And that's great communication between the Giants coaching staff upstairs, taking all that time when we were in commercial to take a look at that, and communicating to Tom Coughlin, throw that red flag, get it out of your sock and throw it.
And really, depending on the spot, that also might affect the decision. This is a yard and change short of a 1st down. They spotted it short of the 36. So Shane Letner on. Oh, it's blocked! Giants busting through. DeMontre Moore getting to the punter and creating on special teams.
Well, Rashad Jennings blocked the punt last week against Arizona. And Bill O'Brien's wondering what can go wrong next as Leckler comes up sore. Tremendous effort by DeMontre Moore. 98, left side of the screen. Watch the left hand go out. He's 6'5", one A&M Aggie blocking an A&M Aggies punt.
A 13-year difference in the classes when they came out. But you're right. Aggie connection. Moore had a block punt last season as a rookie. Shane Leckler injured on the play as he went down hard on the follow-through by Moore.
It's really good coaching, too. But you put a 6'5", 250-pound defensive end rushing Danielle Manning, who goes about 210. Manning was just overpowered by Moore.
Remember, the call on the field was a first down for Houston. And oh, how things have turned since that point. The challenge from Coughlin, the block punt, and the Giants take over at the 29-yard line of the Texans with 10:31 to play in the fourth. They've got a 20-10 lead. Giants. Out of bounds. Sean Jennings picks up a quick 5.
And the more impressive part of that quick 5 was getting away from J.J. Watt. Watt with penetration. Dives but can't make the play. Great effort though as he swims to get into the backfield on Weston Richburg.
Jennings closing in on a new career high, which came last year, 150 yards on the ground as a member of the Raiders against the Houston Texans.
Horses for courses, huh?
I'll agree with that. It rhymes. 2nd and 5. Jennings hurdles. Rashad Jennings has had a huge day on the ground for Big Blue. "15-yard pickup."
He goes right over the top of his teammate there, Daniel Fells, and just would not go down. Actually, that's Will Beatty out in front. Good mobility by Beatty to get that far down the field.
Kendrick Lewis is down for Houston. Medical staff is out there quickly to check on Lewis, who's being helped up. Kendrick Lewis, the safety for Houston, is okay. Can't quite say the same right now for Shane Leckler. He's been moving gingerly along that Houston sideline, the Texans punter. 1st and goal for the Giants. 9.5 to go in the fourth. Manning, end zone, sliding grab, touchdown, Daniel Fells. Giants looking to blow this one wide open.
Great job of reading the defense by Manning. He saw Whitney Merciless, a linebacker, man-to-man on the outside. The inside route takes the safety away. Perfect throw, low into the inside. Merciless never saw it coming. And a left-handed, one-handed catch by Daniel Fells.
Fells, who didn't play in the NFL last season, has been with New England, Denver, St. Louis, Atlanta, an undrafted free agent back in 2006. All set up by the block punt from DeMontre Moore. And the Giants an extra point away from a 17-point lead. 9:25 to go in the fourth. Josh Brown converts. 27-10. Giants. Eli Manning 21 of 27. 234 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Good pass protection. He took a while to find Fells in the back of the end zone. Gets it over Jackson before Merciless can react. Tremendous catch. 10th career touchdown reception for Daniel Fells. And how about paying off the special teams play of DeMontre Moore? That's what you call teamwork. And we've seen it all day long from the Giants. The interception by Roll set up the offense inside the 5-yard line. And then the block punt give the Giants a short field. And they convert with a touchdown quickly.
Giants lost on the road in the season opener to Detroit 35-14. They fell at home 25-14 last week to Arizona. Much more confident team, relaxed team. The offense has produced 397 yards. Kickoff from Brown. Johnson takes a knee. Texans will have it at the 20. Coming up next, the NFL on CBS brings you a huge Super Bowl rematch. Peyton and the Broncos take on Russell Wilson and the world champion Seahawks. Chiefs meet the Dolphins as well. Check your local listings.
Now, this is what happened at the Super Bowl, and it might happen again today. Seattle coming off a bitter loss to San Diego last week and playing at CenturyLink Field, or as they fondly call it in Seattle, the Clink.
The Clink. And the Super Bowl is right here at MetLife Stadium. Pass from Fitzpatrick, intercepted. Rodgers-Cromartie has got it for the Giants. Trying to double back the other way, and he's dropped at the 29. Ryan Fitzpatrick with his third INT of the day.
One thing he did not do in the first two games is turn the ball over. But he just tries to move the safety here. Never really sees Rodgers-Cromartie as he overthrows the tight end. Not sure who was the intended receiver, but DRC steps in front of Hopkins for the pick. And that's the quarterback's worst fear. It's after an interception. Defensive linemen are looking up the quarterback, and Fitzpatrick paid the price. Wow.
4-yard gain for Rashad Jennings. Jarrell Poe will get credit for the stop.
You know, they are taught that, Ian, because I threw enough interceptions to know that as soon as you throw one, those four guys, they're looking to kill you.
Cheap shots.
Well, they're not expensive, I know that.
Legal, but cheap.
Very, very cheap.
2nd and 6. Jennings now with 164 yards on the ground, a new career high.
Eagle in. What I did.
And moving Hynoski around behind him. Jennings looping to the outside. Drives forward. Out of bounds. Hit by Kendrick Lewis, but it was Jennings who dished out the punishment. Let's go to New York. JB and Tony.
Ian, Super Bowl rematch coming up later here on CBS. Peyton Manning will have his security blanket. Wes Welker back in action. He'll need him because Russell Wilson runs perhaps the best balanced offense in the league. Dan Phelps will comment on that. And two championship caliber coaches manning the sidelines. Next on CBS. Back to Ian Eagle, Dan Phelps, and Jenny.
Well, JB, the poise of Russell Wilson, we got to meet with him early in his rookie season, and it was apparent that he had those leadership qualities, and the guys were behind him, and it's translated to wins, the big one included.
Well, you think about his career. He started at North Carolina State, and then played a little bit of baseball, then goes to Wisconsin, leads their team to the Rose Bowl, very mature as a rookie, and his personality really fits the personality of Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Great relationship, and he is such a cool character so early in his career. I love watching him play.
Big ovation for Rashad Jennings. 170 yards on the ground. They brought him in as a free agent from Oakland. Big, physical. And it's paid off today. Total of 181 rushing yards for the Giants. Andre Williams takes a smack. Justin Tuggle, the son of the great Jesse Tuggle, 5-time Pro Bowler with the Atlanta Falcons. 4-yard gain for Williams.
Giant offensive line protecting Eli and giving Rashad Jennings a career day, showing good mobility. And they were challenged here. I mean, you're talking about going up against J.J. Watt and the rest of this defensive line. They're dominated throughout this day.
Coming into the day, Texans had just one turnover. They had 3 here this afternoon. Give it to Williams. Hit by Lewis. Giants using clock. Will approach 6 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. A 2-yard gain for the rookie.
And conversely, the Giants come in with 6 turnovers. Have just the Larry Donnell fumble early in the first quarter today. So big improvement. A lot of takeaways, few turnovers.
-6 entering action, +2 today for the Giants. 3rd and 4 now for New York. Manning can pad the numbers. End zone. Drop ball by Randall. Went for the one-handed snare and could not bring it in. Darryl Morris back in coverage for Houston.
Let's see how close this comes to being a touchdown. A little bit of an armbar there. That could have been called on Morris, but he did get his left hand in there and knocked the ball away from Randall. Good reaction by Darryl Morris.
Well, a made field goal here would give the Giants 30 points. I mentioned it earlier, Giants have gone 17 straight games scoring under 28. The longest current streak in the NFL. Browns got it. 31-yard field goal. The Giants with a 30-10 lead on the Texans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back here at MetLife Stadium, where the Giants have taken a 30-10 lead on the Houston Texans. Giants closing in on their first win of the young season. The Texans with their first loss. Brown kicks it off to Johnson through the back of the end zone. Texans will have it at the 20 with 5:33 to go. Week 3 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN.
And the goal for this West Coast offense is to have your quarterback throwing near 70%. Well, that goal has been achieved today by Eli Manning, 21 of 28 for 234. So the improvement that they showed last week against the Cardinals continuing today.
First down for the Texans. Shotgun for Fitzpatrick. He's thrown 3 interceptions. Almost a fourth. Mukamara.
Mukamara had 2 shots at it. Andre Johnson rips his hands away from this one. But Johnson being controlled by the Giants today. Just 3 catches for 17 yards. That might have been a pick 6.
Second and 10 with 5:27 to go. Short throw to Ronnie Brown. He gets buried by Jameel McClain. 5-yard pickup. No Arian Foster today. Ryan Mallett, the backup quarterback, came over in a deal with New England. Mallett acquired for a conditional late pick, either a 6th or 7th rounder. Bill O'Brien, familiar with Mallett going back to O'Brien's days as an assistant and the offensive coordinator for the Patriots.
Likes his arm a lot, but needs to work on accuracy.
3rd and 5 for Houston. Fitzpatrick gets away. Fitzpatrick, first down run across the 30-yard line. Cullen Jenkins had a chance to bring him down. 7-yard pickup.
We talked about how good that Pierre-Paul is feeling these days. Watch as he breaks away from Dwayne Brown and still has the speed to catch Fitzpatrick. Big play.
Asked him about this team. Pierre-Paul said it's a very close-knit group in his 5th year with the organization. The team does a lot of things together off the field. Long ball to Hopkins. Matched up with Prince Amukamara, and Hopkins wins the battle.
And Pierre-Paul is down back at the 23-yard line, but another fine catch by DeAndre Hopkins. Couldn't get much tighter coverage. In fact, Mukamara even had his ball on the hand when Hopkins pulled it in. Go back and see what happened to Jason Pierre-Paul. Looking against the 2-time Pro Bowler Dwayne Brown. He's kind of lost his balance there under the weight, 300 pounds of Dwayne Brown.
"49-yard pass play." Having a chat with Pierre Paul on the sideline now, doing some work to see if any damage was done.
These shoulder type of exercises. He's had a stinger earlier this year.
Came early against Detroit in the Monday night opener. Look out, Fitzpatrick gets rid of it. Makes the connection with Andre Johnson, 7-yard pickup. Fitzpatrick took a shot from Kiwanuka. A big smile on Pierre Paul's face. It's a good sign.
That's Kiwanuka, relentless after the quarterback Fitzpatrick. Good job by a real gutty competitor getting the ball to Andre Johnson under extreme duress.
Demontre Moore in for Pierre Paul. 2nd and 3 as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the 4th. Fitzpatrick has been under heavy pressure throughout the day from this Giants defense. 2nd and short, Fitzpatrick, end zone. Flag thrown, Johnson with a Mukamara.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. The foul occurred in the end zone. Ball be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
It's a fade route to Andre Johnson. A little bit of grabbing there by Johnson. I'm not sure that's pass interference. He's playing the ball. Their arms are hooked. But they're both kind of just holding hands as they go down the sideline.
J.J. Watt is in the game. See if Houston uses him here. 1st and goal. Give it to Blue. Lost his footing and comes up short. Jonathan Hankins protecting the goal line.
Running away from Watt, trying to get in behind Fedorowicz, the rookie, on the other side.
That's your highest paid blocker in the NFL?
By a long shot.
So Watt back to the Houston sideline. 2nd and goal for the Texans. 2:24 and counting left in the 4th. Giants comfortably in front, 30-10. Jonathan Grimes will now get an opportunity. Three receivers set. Fitzpatrick settles in. Fitzpatrick throws out of bounds. Johnson in the area. Rogers Cromartie there with him. It's 3rd and goal.
Fitzpatrick has rushed for 9 touchdowns in his career. You see the mobility. He's still got it in his 10th year. Knew he didn't have anything, just threw that ball away. Smart play.
Third and goal for Houston. Fitzpatrick out of the gun, steps up, and he'll run it in for the touchdown. Ryan Fitzpatrick cuts into the Giants' lead, his 10th career rushing touchdown.
He wanted to go to the outside where he had 3 receivers bunched, but the Giants come with a blitz that time. That opened up the hole right up the middle, and he took advantage of it. Head first quarterback.
26 yards rushing for Fitzpatrick. Texans set up for the extra point. Bullock converts, 30-17. Giants in front. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he has thrown 3 interceptions. He's thrown for a touchdown and now has rushed for one as well. Well, Randy Bullock has never attempted an onside kick in his NFL career. Little push. And the Giants on top of it with the hands team led by Larry Donnell. Able to get it across the 45-yard line, but Donnell in position to scoop it up and secure it.
Smart play. He's looking for the hole in the receiving team here. heads up by Donnell to go out and get it, not wait for the ball to come to him. That's why they call it the hands team. You got to have good hands to be on the onside kick prevent team.
Yeah, good feet would probably not qualify.
118.
Fifth time that the Giants have started on Houston's side of the field. They call themselves Scorpion. 4 of the smartest people in the world working together to fight threats against America. Inspired by a true story, Scorpion premieres tomorrow after The Big Bang Theory, only CBS. You asked Eli Manning a question in our meetings about the no-huddle offense and whether or not he's leaned on his brother Peyton Manning to get some insight. I found his answer very interesting.
Well, he says no. He says Peyton doesn't share a lot. He keeps things close to his vest if you want. And I mean, not even like at Thanksgiving dinners or off-season golf matches.
Nothing
from his big bro.
And he tried to go like an end around to some teammates of Peyton's, and they also gave him no insight.
118.
Where's the brotherly love there? We know how close they are. Give this to Jennings, but it showed you that Peyton's all business when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Well, you never know when the Broncos may be playing the Giants in the Super Bowl, and doesn't want to give his brother the edge.
3-yard pickup there. Timeout taken with 1:49 to go here in the fourth. Eli Manning is 21 of 28, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Just sacked one time today. The rhythm and timing of the pass offense couldn't have been better today. It's Cruz a couple of times. Great effort by Cruz here to get into the end zone. But the offensive line gave him time to throw. And when you give him time to throw, he makes all the throws. That last one to Fells was beautiful, right behind the linebacker.
And we asked Coughlin, has it re-energized Eli Manning? And he looked at both you and me and Jenny and said, yeah, that's why we did it. That was the point behind the change for the West Coast offense.
Well, it's a successful offense. Bill Walsh created a dynasty in San Francisco with it, and it's gone to many teams, including the Packers with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, a couple of quarterbacks that Eli has studied because McAdoo brought a lot of those cut-ups with him from Green Bay for not only Eli, but the entire offense to look at and learn from.
What did it do for you at that stage of your career when Bill Walsh came in with this offense, or the framework of it at least?
Well, I had been with 4 different coordinators in 4 years, and to know that he was coming, number one, because of the success he had had with Greg Cook and Virgil Carter and Kenny Anderson in Cincinnati, I knew that things were going to get a lot better for me. He broke my game down, recreated it, and set me on my way, and I owe him a tremendous debt of thanks. Fortunate to have been inducted into the Hall of Fame with Bill Walsh, along with Chuck Noll, Larry Little, and Walter Payton. But Bill Walsh really, along with Don Coryell, helped me obviously a great deal.
You think of that Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin combination, 4th most all-time games for a head coach and a quarterback. 154th game combined together, Coughlin and Manning. Number 1 all-time, Belichick and Brady. Number 2, Shula and Marino. And number 3, you just mentioned, Chuck Noll, along with Terry Bradshaw. So we got a minute 37 to play here, and the Giants in front of the Texans, 30-17. Fitzpatrick, flushed out. And takes a little shot at the end of the play from Jaquan Williams. 8-yard pickup for Fitzpatrick. Jason Pierre-Paul back on the field for New York. So this is what's coming up. Thursday Night Football. We'll have it for you on CBS. Giants at Washington, then home for Atlanta, at Philadelphia, at Dallas. Divisional battles before the bye on the 26th of October.
There's nothing easy anywhere in the NFL, is there?
2nd and 2 now for the Texans. DeAndre Hopkins with the catch. Brought down at the 24. This is what's coming up for Houston. They will be home for Buffalo, then at Dallas. Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network when they take on the Indianapolis Colts. Fitzpatrick over the middle to Garrett Graham, who brings it in cleanly and brought down at the 34. Antrell Roll with the tackle. A 10-yard pickup. We're under a minute to go now. And it's Demontre Moore down for the Giants on his back. Moore, who had the block punt that really turned the game. Giants scored after the block punt, extended the lead. They bring Moore up to his feet, and he will jog off on his own.
Tremendous effort by Demontre Moore here, reaching out with his left hand as he's being held by Danielle Manning. So the key, though, is after the ball is turned over to the offense, what does the offense do with it? They pay it off with a touchdown.
First down for Houston. 55 seconds left. Fitzpatrick. Soft toss to Graham. Spilled out. On the hit by Tremaine McBride. Stepping in for the injured Walter Thurman.
Fitzpatrick's going to sleep well tonight. He might sleep well on the plane on the way back to Houston. 7 rushes for 34 yards, touchdown, 31 passes so far.
Fitzpatrick again. This time it's Damaris Johnson. And a big hit from McLean. Down to 19 seconds left after the 12-yard pickup. Texans rush to the line. Fitzpatrick will spike it with 13 seconds left, and the fans up on their feet.
I think the impressive thing for the Giants today is they overcame their own mistakes early in the ballgame with the bad snap from on a field goal play, a fumble in the red zone, deep in the red zone by Donnell. But they didn't let all those negative things happen, didn't let them affect them, and bounce back.
Started last season 0-6. That will not be the case here in 2014 for the Giants. Fitzpatrick. Sidearm toss. Jonathan Grimes. And that'll do it. The Giants snap a 7-game September losing streak. They get the win over Houston at home, 30-17. The West Coast offense was clicking today for Tom Coughlin and the Giants. Coughlin and O'Brien meet at midfield. Houston suffers its first loss of the young season, now 2-1. Coming up next, Broncos and the Seahawks, or the Chiefs at the Dolphins. For Dan Fouts, Jenny Dell, the rest of our CBS crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from the Meadowlands. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, NFL Today update. We'll join James Brown after this.